Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk. It's a call-in show on the Skeptic Haven channel, this wonderful channel right here. Let's Talk is a safe place for atheists, those questioning or leaving religion, or anyone that wants to ask questions and have respectful discussions. From the U.S., you can call us at 984-789-4787. Or if you're outside the U.S., just click the URL that you'll see on the bottom of the screen there. And you can call us from your computer, and we'd love to chat with you. Gotta love science and technology, eh? Roll the opener.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.
Hi, today I'm co-hosting with my good friend and the invisible, oh no, here he is, Mr. Mikey Famine.
I unplugged it with my foot like a professional. Yes.
By the way, I love your shirt.
Thank you. This is from the Science Center, one of my favorite spots to stop in at down in St. Louis. So if you're down there, it's free. You just have to pay for parking and go check out some cool science experiments.
Free is my favorite price.
Oh, dude.
Also, my fit is the Lucy pirate thingy, whatever they call it, skull and crossbow thing there. That's designed by Mr. Aaron Raw himself. So,
you said Luffy or Lucy?
Luffy.
Now, what if you mix? Now, what if you mix the two? I'm seeing there's some cross promotional opportunities here. The pirate skull and crossbones use Lucy's skull and crossbow. I don't know.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
All right. Never mind. I'll make my own shirts.
You already did, and I have one.
That's true.
It's your awesome logo.
Oh, love that thing. Shout out to Cheshire Cat. Hooked it up. She nailed it.
Oh, did she? Oh, awesome. So yeah, we didn't have our show last night because our good friend Mr. David Fitzgerald, his computer went on the fritz, so he has it in the shop, and he was hoping to get it back by the weekend, but that didn't happen. So we have him rescheduled for November 2nd, which is normally going to be the Lego stream, but I bumped that to the 9th. So we'll do that on the 9th, and we'll have David on the 2nd. We got a lot of really cool people coming up, actually. So it's going to be quite the month.
Nothing to say against people who've already been on. You were fine. No,
fine. No, hair is fine.
But we're a bit spoiled for guests. You know, like we've had our pick. You know, like who hasn't come on? Who hasn't come on? No, literally, who hasn't come on? Give me their name. I want to see them on the show. Go to my Twitter at Mikey Famine. It is my first pinned tweet, and you get yourself scheduled so we can hear your story and where you came from and where you're at now. We'd like to know.
Well, my mom and my dad fooled around.
Fast forward.
Sorry.
Skip ads.
However, I do want to say we do have a repeat guest coming up soon.
That is true.
However, he's coming back on, and he'll actually, well, I think people already know what he looks like now, but Mr. Vice Rhino is going to come back on, and we're going to talk about community and how to better up community and stuff like that. It's going to be a little bit of a different episode, but he really wanted to come back. So I was, who was I to say, no, I'm sorry, you know, you're not allowed to come back. But,
and we won't even charge him twice as much. You know,
right.
We're not even going to do that. We're going to let him come in for the same price as last time. Free 99.
Free 99. Wait, we're charging him 99 cents now?
Oh man, I forgot to collect it.
You know what, guys? Before we have our first call, because we don't really have anyone on the line yet. So if you guys want to chat with us, or if there's any theists out there that want to have a chat with us, then give us a call and we can talk. But I do want to say this. I'll probably say it again before the show's out. But just so you guys know, Skeptic Haven is always looking for volunteers to help behind the scenes and stuff like that. So if you'd like to be a part of our awesome team, you can send us an email at info@skeptichaven.com, and they'll hook you up and put you to work here. also for free, but it's a lot of fun. So we like to have some fun here on the Skeptic Haven Network. Hopefully, we get some good calls tonight, man.
Yeah. I hope Homeboy calls us back.
Homeboy. Oh yeah. I want to show you guys.
Tried to talk to the manager on me.
That's right. What a Karen. But here's I put one of these stickers on my coffee cup at work, and it's garnered a lot of conversations there. And my supervisor,
people wondering where you got it.
Yeah, well, I've got lots, so I stick them all over everything. Because they're a great organization, and Mikey and I fully support them all the time doing their fundraising stuff and whatnot. So however, my one of my bosses, anyways, was trying to tell, but atheism's just another religion. I said, yeah, it's another religion, like bald as a hair color, you moron. Like not using stamps as a hobby. Just look at the chat there. Hi, Chris, the Daily Atheist Morning Show, who was on hiatus.
Hey.
If you're unfamiliar with Chris's work on the morning show, I suggest you definitely go give his channel a look-see, because he's a great sense of humor and a great guy all around. So, can I get some ducks in the chat for Mr. Mallard? Ducks? Can I get some mallards in the chat? If I knew how to do that, I would do that myself, but unfortunately, I don't.
Yeah, it's complicated. But these kids they're quick, Neil. They know how to get all the emojis.
I know, right? I'm not on my laptop. I could do it on my phone, but on my laptop, I'm lost. Yeah, Bree stuck a mallard in the chat.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, starting a thing.
Exactly. Well, so what have you been up to, my man?
My mother is coming into town, and my wife's birthday is coming, so we got to clean everything. We got a bunch of fun stuff. We're going to be scooting around town because me and the wife get to hang out and do stuff because she doesn't have to work. Mm-hmm. And then my mom gets to, visit the old stomping grounds and stuff. So should be a fun week. Cool. But the prep is always not great because, your freaking mom's coming home. So you got to freaking wipe everything down. You know how it is.
Oh, no. Hold on, is your mom one of those white glove tests ladies that's going to go across the banister?
She won't say nothing.
What's this?
She won't say nothing, but I know she's got a secret, separate piece of luggage that is just for forensically examining the cleanliness
of some of that luminol in there.
Yeah, well, so I hope not. No need for that. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, you can put that away. It's all right.
Don't spray it.
We bleached everything. I mean...
It's like there's nothing in this place. It's like the whole place is brand new.
Look at Ollie trying to be funny. Duck, duck, goose. Look at this guy. Oh, yeah, I haven't played that game since I was like in elementary school or something.
Duck, duck, roll your ankle. Yeah.
yeah, right. Actually, you say that, and it probably happened to me twice when I was trying to get up to be the run.
That's what I'm saying. Or what was my favorite Wii game? Instead of Wii Tennis, is like Wii Black Eye or Wii Chip TV. Like, just call it what it actually is. Wii Concussion for the bowling.
Wii upcoming dental work.
Right. Wii Chip Tooth.
Yeah. What's some other brutal games we played as kids? Did you guys ever do Red Rover? Was that a thing?
Oh, man. Clothesline City.
Yeah, exactly.
Clothesline your friends.
Red Rover. We call the next victim over.
Right. Give me as tribute. I shall take the short kid. No. And then he just gets leveled. Or people are dumb and they forget to pick the big kid early. And then he's just like, or he comes in late. He was in the nurse's office, and then here comes Tank. And he just comes plowing through the whole line. It's all bad. Just a bad game.
All right. I guess what? We have a caller.
Oh, boy.
We have a caller. I know who it is, so I'm not going to tell you because you're going to have to guess.
All right.
Because I could see who's in there. So we'll allow the can I hit the talk button now? Is that how this works? I don't know. This is the screen. Yeah, it says host queue. So that's me. All right, so let's talk with Chris.
Beep.
Please leave a message after the beep. Neil and Mikey are not out here. No, yeah, never mind. Hey, Chris, what's going on, brother?
Oh, not a lot. It's good to call in and help out the show. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, man. Yourself?
Good, brother.
Pretty good. I don't have any theists with me for you guys to feed on at the moment.
To feed on. Well, I am kind of hungry, so.
I was about to say I could definitely go for a theist right now.
Definitely, yes. Christians. Remember that joke I used to do, Neil, about how after a debate I love a good. I don't know how it goes. I'm driving, so I can't really. I don't know what the hell's going on. Yes, eating Christians. That was a good thing. Sorry.
No,
you're driving, Chris. Man, drive safely, man.
Well,
sorry. I heard y'all didn't see the caller, so I thought I'd call in. But I'm helping my wife load groceries, and now we're on the road, so things have settled down.
All right.
No, I think. Thank you, Chris, for the suggestion, and I think we should really start cornering the market on like marinades, sauces, tamponade, all of the fixins. You know what I mean? Because Thanksgiving is coming, and we're gonna need recipes for how to eat our
Christian neighbors.
Our Christian neighbors will be consumed this holiday season, apparently,
or at least their babies.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And as a new father, the temptation should just get some sweet baby rays and just glaze that little bit. You get attached, even if we did want to eat babies, you start to like them after a while. You name them, and it's all bad from there.
It's all over once you name them.
Yeah, once you name them, you're done. You can't eat them after that. That's why they make you name them at the hospital.
There's rules. But they're tasty and delicious anyway. You know how that goes. When do I come back on your show?
You want to come back on like as a guest?
Oh, sure. Whenever, maybe in one of your, whenever you need a slot. I'm going to be on Maya's show here in about an hour.
Ooh. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Say hello for us.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your stream and what you kind of do with the atheist news there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I will. While we're doing that, I host a daily atheist morning show where I come on and I talk politics and religion.
All those things you're not supposed to talk about at family gatherings.
What's that?
So those are all the things you're not supposed to talk about at family gatherings.
Exactly. Yeah. But now I don't know. I've been dropping a lot of long form videos. That's kind of where most of my views are coming from nowadays, rather than the live shoots. So that's what I do. I'm hoping to have Mikey on the show soon.
Hey, man, I'm always up at the crack of dawn for apparently no reason.
That's because you have a child.
There you go. I sent you an email. Yeah, well, you got a kid, right? And that's why in the wild some animals eat their young.
Yeah.
They won't let them sleep. So they're like, I'm just gonna eat this little thing.
It's the only thing you can do to rest.
What is this? Who's this infidel guy saying, "Oh, good, no Lego. You want Lego? I got Lego.
I got you Lego. I got you Lego right here, big guy."
Here's one of the latest. They did the whole Dungeons and Dragons minifigure set, and here's a mind flayer for you.
Nice.
Oh, mind flayer! Wow, that's well,
guys, my mind flayed once.
And I will, whenever I get home, I'll pop on the stream and I'll see where you guys are at, and I'll visit me.
Sounds great.
Sure. Dude. Awesome. Thanks for the call, Chris. Good to hear from you. And we'll get you back on one way or another. We'll talk about your whole hiatus and what you were up to.
Yeah.
There you go. Or even if just I can pop on an after stream, that's good enough for me. I ain't proud.
There we go. That'll work.
Okay, that'll work.
All right, thank you, Mikey. Let me know. I sent you an email. We'll get together.
Sounds good, brother.
All right. Enjoy your groceries. Send some my way.
Bye.
See you. That's
Love
cool.
you.
That's cool. I haven't spoken with Chris, well, since the last after party, really, but that he was available on.
Yeah.
I always like he's a good guy.
I've been catching his streams in the morning because sleep regression is a real thing, y'all. Sleep regression is a real thing.
Boredom in the lab, kind of. I just put the phone there and I just watch while I'm fucking around with chemicals and stuff. So
that's safe.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not there, so go for it. You know what I mean?
No big clouds of doom yet have popped out of anything, so it's just antifreeze. So what could go wrong with that? Oops, I accidentally drank some.
What if it turned into, instead of antifreeze, permafreeze, and then that would be your like new villain nickname, because the experiment, a lightning bolt or a miracle, depending on how you look at it, happened in the lab, and it turned you into the antifreeze villain, permafrost.
Could be permafrost. That's kind of antifreeze, though, isn't it?
That's pretty good, though, right?
Permafrost could be a name you could give to like one of those Mr. Freeze type villains in Batman world.
Whoa! I would never steal DC's intellectual property. Neil, who are you talking about? Who is that fellow? Sergeant Freeze? Never heard of him.
Popsicle Pirate? I don't know who that is.
I'm here. I'm your best friend. Major Shake.
Major Shake.
The replicants.
Biker Pirate, Antifreeze Joker. There you go. Yes, turn up bad. That's me right there.
No. I would also encourage everybody, if they have a special person out there, make sure you have a safe word with them. Not for that stuff, you little preverts, but just in case that there's a clone.
Wait, what?
Hey, I've seen it in every anime episode ever. Like every series has had the episode where there's like a body double, or a body snatcher. You gotta do this stuff before the body snatcher gets to you. You know what I mean? Because then it's too late. Now you're sharing the password with the body double.
Yeah, and then everything goes south from there.
And then your ship is compromised. If only you had come up with the word beforehand. So think about it, y'all.
So, what do you think the upcoming debate with was it Walson? It's Vance that he's going up against?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be all going on with that?
We are going to be live streaming it over on the Bin Network, and we're making bingo cards. I got to do that tonight. This is going to be a knockdown, drag out, awesome real man versus insecure man, and I can't wait. Because JD Vance won't be able to run.
I wonder if there's going to be more talk about eating cats and dogs and stuff.
Yeah, and other, obviously just racist things. Like it's so weird. It's such a weird dude thing to say. It's like I didn't know. I couldn't tell if that was a real political headline or like the tagline from a Call of Duty video from the lobby. You know what I mean? Like this is just some like fringe 4chan garbage that's worked its way up into the mainstream.
Oh, you mean like X?
Yeah.
Which has turned into a 4chan.
Yeah. Essentially, it's like public 4chan.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That there's a lot of people getting off of there now. I've noticed that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't quite left yet. I'd like to, pull a January 6th on my way out, smear my poop on the wall, take a couple podiums. I'm not going out without several snafus.
Well, yeah. I mean, my plan is to be there until I've convinced enough people to jump over to like Threads and Blue Sky, because that's probably where I'm going to end up doing most of my spreading the word and promoting our show and stuff like that. Get off into it. It's tough though, because you when you have like literally quite a few followers, it's hard to jump off of there, especially when you know that's a platform you can use to promote stuff like that. But Tons of Mike says, "Smear that poop, Mikey. Smear that."
Damn
poop.
right. I'm not leaving this place in good condition. I'm tearing it up. I'm tearing it up.
Tons of poop.
And same thing goes for this country. I'm not just giving it to the Republicans. I'm tearing it up. I'm scuttling this ship.
I really hope that you guys don't have to deal with that. Come on.
Like the last time was crazy enough. Like, come on, guys.
I hope Kamala wins, dude. I really do.
Look, even if she wins, it's still going to be a headache, but it's a headache we can manage.
Yeah. Infidel. JD Vance is going to be so jealous. We'll all be sitting on our couches while watching.
Right, touching our couches softly. Which is the perfect like comeuppance for a guy who takes 4chan lies and spreads it in the public about different kinds of people, but at the same time he goes down like his biggest blunder now is an online rumor that is not even remotely close to being true, but it doesn't matter because that's how the internet works.
Exactly.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Just want to see if I can just shrink this a little bit.
So what about you, Neil? What have you been up to these days?
Well, whoops. Let me see. Lately, well, as usual on Sundays, I do my brunch with my mom.
Ooh.
And
what do we have?
Today we went to a little place called the Sunshine Diner.
Oh, nice.
It's a little place that has a lot of like retro-y kind of. It's got like Beatles stuff and Marilyn Monroe and James Dean and Elvis Presley type stuff all over the walls. And they got a lot of Coca-Cola product stuff all over the walls. And also they have pictures of my cousin's store that she used to run that they've closed down now called the Army and Navy, which was my cousin Jackie's store. So I mentioned to the guy that owned the place that, that's my cousin's store. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, my cousin Jackie. He goes, yeah, I know her. I'm like, yeah, so do I. So
I too know her.
The cool thing about it is there was an item that I loved on that menu that they took off the menu. So I asked myself, what happened? Where'd the James Dean breakfast burger go? Because it's got the sausage and the egg and the cheese and a beef patty, right? And it's really tasty. And of course, it goes against kind of what I've been eating lately. But every once in a while, I'll throw a little.
So it has like a burger patty and a sausage patty.
Yep, like a great big farmer sausage and a piece of cheese and an egg. And I always tell them to make the egg a little bit runny. I'd say leave the egg a little bit runny so it's goobers all over. And they use this garlic aioli sauce on there that is so good, dude. It's the best thing they make. And they took it off the fucking menu. And I was upset.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, man. Don't worry. We'll make one for you. And I'm like,
I got you, dog. Yeah.
So we went back today and they did it again. They made it for me again.
It's like, don't worry, dog. I got the recipe right here, man. I got your James Dean's for life, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Which I think is really cool that they're going to be able to do that for me. So
I want a breakfast sandwich right now. And there is no way I can get one. I don't even think I can make one. I'm not making biscuits, that's for sure.
What's this now?
At this ungodly hour. Oh, can you read it? It's small on my screen. Oh, it's gone.
Oh, yeah. Nah, Trump has cut a lot of taxes for the poor. Oh, did he?
No, he didn't.
Right? No, he didn't, but that's okay. He did raise taxes on middle class homeowners. There really is no middle class. And lost in 2020 because of the suburbs. Oh, is that what it is now? At least you're admitting he was defeated.
I'll take it.
Tax cuts for the rich. Yep, that's what he did.
Somewhat tethered to reality. At least now we can debate. I got
poop happens as long as you don't have to clean up after it. It ain't bad, but every 4 to 8 years, the Republicans have to clean up after. Oh, sure, yeah. That's what happens, right? Yep.
And it's always people who are the loudest in the crowd that don't really get, like, when you have like sweeping policies, like someone has like a different economic plan, right? So they put it in place. if it doesn't like move a chart in their head in 2 weeks, it doesn't exist. It doesn't work. They were lying. They didn't have like, they just fundamentally don't understand how governments function, how the rollout of things happen. Like, and I'm not the oldest person on the earth, but I do remember that there was a time and place when people kind of had a much more a stronger grip on civics before they would like make a lot of these statements, because they just say things like when Trump said Mexico was going to pay for the border. Like, that's just not even a thing that could even work, but people repeated it for years. And then people just repeated it for years and years. I'm like, that doesn't work. Steve Bannon went to jail for frauding all of these Trumpsters out of their money because they were trying to privately fund the border wall. That is a government installation. You may not put private money into it. If you knew anything about civics, you would have known that was an obvious scam, but they just don't know enough about the boring stuff, the C-SPAN meetings and the committees. And
right.
It's horribly lame to love politics the way that I do, but you got to kind of do your homework if you want to not just be a sucker for the latest populist, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I feel for you guys down there, but we got our own brand of Trumpism up here. So
where was Trudeau born? Can we have him?
He was born here.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's okay. Yeah, America's gonna claim Canada soon.
Oh, is that right? Do we have to come down and burn the White House down again?
Oh man, I sent Ollie a short of this dude trying to bow hunt, and this bull moose walks over a hedge on him. And I was like, Ollie, I said a lot of mean things about Canada. Please do not send your tactical squadron of meese down here to murder us all. Please. I'm so sorry for everything I said. It was in jest, bad form, bad taste. I'm sorry.
The moose tanks are on the way.
I take it all back.
Along with our air squadron of Canadian geese there.
No.
Or cobra chickens, as we call them.
Honk squadron.
Our government's like a box of chocolates. You know what you're going to get? A box of chocolates. Well, it's still nobody calling in. Somebody, you guys call in, talk to us. We can talk about this sort of thing too if you want.
Or I can rant on politics for about the next 17 hours.
I do. I'm just a lowly Canadian, eh? All I know about is snowmen and igloos and stuff like that.
Yetis.
Yeti. We don't have Yetis here.
Yeah, you do.
No. We're Sasquatch people, like.
Yeah, aren't
especially
Yetis
where I
Tibet? Yetis are Tibet, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wrong mountains. You're right. Y'all don't have no Yetis.
Abominable snow.
Fine. Some bumbles. What is the bumble population for this area? I'd like to know. I have an allergy.
To bumbles.
Their fur will just do the dander, the fur.
Oh, horrifying.
I can't do it.
My roommate has a little stuffy abominable bumble over there, and that's bad enough, man.
I'm allergic to that. I had someone send me a picture of a bumble once, and I broke out in hives.
You have 5 minutes to talk about Jesus mythicism.
So, as the layman, is that the premise of the whole mythicism? Was he like a real person, or is it the?
That's kind of what I always wondered. Is it the biblical Jesus was real, or just some wacky itinerant rabbi they based the character off of?
Because when they say mysticism versus historicity, like what are y'all? Which imaginary hill are y'all dying on with that?
Maybe Colin.
Yeah, Colin, let us know.
Talk about that with you.
Clarify.
A little clarity is good. It'd be nice to talk about something like that. I think it'd be a great idea.
Because they're both non-issues to me. Like either way, like I don't care whether they think this or whether they think like I'm not interested in what other people's brains are doing.
I like
but it would be funny to know what it is.
Bumble meat is kind of spicy. I prefer cats and dogs. You're eating the dogs. You're eating the cats.
That's the same shit they said. That's the same stuff they said about like Asian people when they were doing the internment camps and all that stuff.
Right.
It's just, it's like horrible. It's just such a slur.
All right, looks like we might have somebody joining us momentarily.
Perhaps they'll expose us for the grifters.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mythicism is that there was no Jesus at all. Just stories not based on a real guy. Oh.
I see. Okay.
Mythicism. Okay.
Mythicism.
Yeah,
I know
I know it wouldn't matter.
there's channels that tackle that full time.
So what's
well, his name's escaped me for some reason.
Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear. That's who it was.
No, I know David Fitzgerald is a mythicist, but I'm talking about was it Myth Vision? I think it's the name of the channel.
So people just believe that Jesus wasn't real. He was just like, the character to like for the just because stories. Like Mowgli and Jungle Book. Like the point of the whole thing is to like learn the lessons of Jungle Book, whatever that is. Don't trust snakes, I guess. But so I guess like Jesus is the Mowgli who is just there to give us the just so stories about like why an elephant's nose is long and all that other shit. I mean, that's an interesting take, but I'm still firmly in the camp that this is just a political social tool that once they realize its potential, there is no way that they were giving it up. It's literally built and destroyed empires overnight. So
well, why don't we talk to Jesus Tales, because he's waiting to chat with us.
Yeah, let's chat.
All right, let's do it. I believe you should be with us now. Yeah, hi, Jesus Tales. How are you?
Hi.
Hey. Okay, so the Mowgli idea, just basically a fictional character to teach us a lesson.
Or that's Frodo, whatever, yeah.
But the reason I believe that is really kind of a new radical angle.
Oh.
So yeah.
Hold on. Do you mean the whole idea of mythicism is a radical angle?
Oh no, it's well over 100 years old.
Okay.
A lot of mythicism is focused on the reception of the Gospels, and so they think that the Gospels might have been completely fiction based on the reception of the Gospels and the lack of proof for Jesus.
Sure.
But I think Jesus' mythicism is throughout the Hebrew Bible, in the Old Testament.
Okay, I was raised Jewish, and I can tell you there's nothing mentioned about Jesus there.
Okay, so the names Joshua and Jesus are artificially separated.
Like
in the
twins?
1500s, they started interpreting the Old Testament from the Hebrew and the New Testament from the Greek. But prior to that, in a Greek translation, the name would be the same for Joshua and Jesus. So,
but in Hebrew,
the gospel writers,
hang on one sec. In Hebrew, Joshua is actually pronounced Yeshua, as I speak Hebrew.
Exactly.
So, and that could be an offshoot of Jesus for sure. I'm not going to argue against that. That's fine.
Or Mexican.
Well, okay, yeah. So, so if you ask any seminary student, what was Jesus called in Aramaic or Hebrew, because he wouldn't have spoken Greek in Galilee, they would say Yeshua or Yehoshua, right? But nobody realizes that the Greek authors of the Gospels learned Greek. They learned the Septuagint, the Greek Old Testament, and the sixth book in the Bible was the book of Jesus. Right?
Oh, really?
So in chapter 10 of the book of Jesus, Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that's news to me. That's the first I've heard of something like this.
Oh, yeah. So they would have read basically the book of Jesus. It'd be Jesus or something like that, or Jesus, or not exactly sure how you say that, but, Jesus.
Well, they didn't have a J back then. So.
They didn't have a what?
The letter J didn't exist back then. They didn't have
the letter J didn't exist.
That's why it was Yeshua. Like, it was always a Y-ish.
Jesus and Joshua, and they would correspond to Yehoshua and Jesus for Hebrew and Greek. If we just keep it with Joshua and Jesus, it keeps it really simple. Okay. Like, otherwise, we have to keep switching back and forth. And that's really where the problem comes in, is not recognizing that Yehoshua is Jesus. As a matter of fact, in the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 4, it references the Old Testament Joshua, and it uses the exact same word in the Greek New Testament for that Joshua that it does for Jesus Christ. So that's a way you can kind of verify what I'm saying. Also, if you look in Brenton's English translation of the Greek Old Testament, you'll see the name Jesus throughout the Old Testament. So in Zechariah 3, Jesus faces the devil, and that's Old Testament. So, but here's the.
Hold on.
Really, for me,
it sounds like you're substituting one name for another name, because sometimes they're translated similarly. Like, I don't know.
I don't recall the devil being mentioned in the Old Testament at all.
Right. Well, in the 1500s, Martin Luther may have been the first one. It may have been just before Martin Luther. He started bringing in the Hebrew to translate the Old Testament. Before that, they'd had the New Testament and Old Testament translations in the same language, Latin and Greek before that. Well, he's translating into German. He's using the Hebrew for the Old Testament, and that's Yehoshua. And so we get Joshua in the English. And he uses the New Testament he uses the Greek for the New Testament, and so we get the names Jesus. They're artificially separated. And seminary students know this. They know that Jesus would have been called Yeshua or Yehoshua in his own day if he was real in Galilee. But they never stopped to think the reverse, that they were reading the Old Testament in Greek because they were Greek writers, Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, whoever they were.
Paul Ringo.
And they would have grown up reading the book of Jesus. Or Jesus.
It's strange. It's strange. I've never heard that pronunciation of Yeshua before, because I've always just known Yeshua to be the name Joshua in the English once things became anglicized.
Right.
But I've never heard the other version of it.
Yeah.
So this is new.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. See, how many times has the New Testament been reinterpreted and rewritten? How many times?
Four times.
Thousands.
Nope, just 4.
Absolutely.
I don't put any stock in that stuff, I can't.
Right. So, I'm not asking you to believe the New Testament. Okay.
Okay.
In the Old Testament,
no worries there, buddy.
The book of Jesus.
See, I'd never heard of that either.
This first Jesus, Joshua son of Nun, kills the king of Jerusalem, hangs him in a tree, takes him down the evening, puts him in a cave, and piles rocks in front of that cave.
Like Maui.
That corresponds.
Sorry, I have a
all
kid.
That
Sorry.
corresponds to things that the Gospel of Mark has for Jesus of Nazareth. Some of them are actually reversed. Instead of remaining to this day, obviously, he rose in Mark chapter 16. But every bit of that last part of Mark just about is found from a previous Jesus. Now, this Jesus killed the king of Jerusalem. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying a previous Jesus? I don't know. What does that even mean?
I thought it was Joshua.
Jesus,
is Joshua,
son of Nun, the 6th book of the Bible. So when he conquers Canaan, he hangs the king of Jerusalem in a tree, which corresponds to the cross, because in the book of Acts, they talk about Jesus having been killed, hung on a tree, like they said, 3 times. So
also a hate crime.
Equal. Yeah.
Just saying that.
I know this is just way out of left field. So I enjoy talking about it, but if you guys are just like blown away by it, by all means, I'll let it go.
I mean, I had never heard of it.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Are you a theist?
Nope.
Okay, so are you agnostic?
Honestly,
Do you consider yourself atheist or agnostic or what?
I'm atheist.
Okay.
I'm atheist, but honestly, a mythicist position honestly goes more hand in hand with a true believer, in that because it's a myth, anything can happen. And a true believer believes in miracles, and because it's a miracle, anything can happen. A big problem
because I'm already accepting the supernatural. It's all bets are off.
I don't accept the supernatural myself.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. So, okay. The story I just told you that's in Jesus chapter 10, or Joshua chapter 10, happened exactly 40 years after Joshua, son of Nun, or Jesus, was rejected by his people, the Israelites. He went out on the spy story to spy out Canaan, and he came back and he told them they should go up and take it, and they almost stoned him. So 40 years, they had to wander 40 years in the wilderness before the conquest, before he kills the king of Jerusalem.
Wait, what?
With all these parallels to Jesus of Nazareth.
That sounds a lot like the Exodus.
Yeah. Yes. That happens in Numbers chapters 13 and 14. Jesus is right there beside Moses. He's his assistant. So he goes to the spy.
What?
He does the spy thing exactly 40 years before the king of Jerusalem is killed by Jesus.
Oh, man, I tell you, wait till they hear this story in the next Seder I attend this coming spring.
Zombies, Jesus confirmed. Right. That's all I can say. Zombie Jesus confirmed.
So this is the same as Jesus of Nazareth was rejected by his hometown exactly 40 years before Jerusalem fell in 70 CE. It sounds like a miracle. But
it sounds to me like I should be calling my friend Dan McLeod up.
Rewritten. Yeah.
Are you familiar with Dan?
So I'm trying to, I've seen a lot of his stuff. He's awesome.
Same with Kip.
He'll tell you show me the facts. Show me what you got.
No, someone will say something ridiculous and he'll go, all right, let's see it. And every time he says that, I crack up, by the way. Just FYI.
That's it.
All right, let's see it.
So
he's a great guy. I had him on my show. And he's a hell of a conversation with him.
Yeah. Okay. So Jesus was rejected, this Old Testament Jesus was rejected by the Israelites exactly 40 years before he kills the king of Jerusalem, hangs on a tree, all that stuff. And because his message was rejected, the Israelites had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years, and their children would get the promised land. Well, what does Jesus of Nazareth do? He's rejected by the people at Nazareth.
Again.
40 years later, he dies on the cross.
Again.
But he tells them, exactly. He tells them.
So you're telling me this is Fast and the Furious?
Can enter the kingdom. right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
My angle is that this is all from the Old Testament. And not just any people from the Old Testament. They're Old Testament Jesuses. Plural.
I don't know, man. I think you've got some pretty interesting ideas here, and I really don't know what to make of them. But I think a lot of folks in the chat are literally going, "What is going on?"
There's a lot
They
of
don't
question marks in
understand
the
that. I don't think
chat.
they can follow what's happening. Maybe
Any good,
maybe
good questions?
most of them are just dumbfounded, I think, because I've never heard any of this myself, and I'm
Yeah,
very familiar with the Old Testament as I grew up with it and studied it as a kid. So I'm really familiar, and none of that rings any bells with me. So it's just it's hard for me to sort of swallow this. I think what we're going to do is we got a few more callers waiting,
Okay.
but you've given us some stuff to chew on. That's for sure.
I'm chewing.
I do appreciate the call. But we're gonna move on to the next caller and see what comes up here.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, cheers. All right. Next up, we have Mike from Texas, who is a mythicist.
Hello, Mike from Texas.
Hi, you guys. You remember me?
I've spoken to quite a few, so
Oh, you're the Mike. Okay. No, you gotta give us more than that.
That Mike.
The
That
Mike.
Mike. Yes.
Which Mike are you from?
Mike Bell. Mike Bell.
oh, Michael. Oh.
Just
That Mike.
no.
Yeah.
Hi.
So you fancy yourself as a mythicist, do you there, Mike?
Yeah, my studies say that he most likely, and in my most positive decision, it did not exist at all. He was probably a combination of attributes and whatnot.
Mhm.
But
That's kind of where I fall.
all I can get with my research, is consensus says, and that's what most of the higher ups say. And let's see what consensus says, and there's one
Careful
more.
now, you're doing an appeal to authority.
Oh,
No, and I'm against that. Which in this case is I'm actually against the consensus. The consensus says he did exist. I don't believe him.
Right.
There's a reason for that. I can't find anything mentioned about him during his supposed lifetime.
You mean outside of biblical scripture?
What's that?
Michael, you mean outside of biblical scripture, correct?
Correct. Both Tacitus and Josephus were they actually were born after he died, and those are the oldest non-biblical texts.
Yes. And there's some thought that isn't there thought that some of it might be a forgery too? The Josephus one, anyways, I think.
That's correct. Because of the writing translations at the end of it, it did not look like it was in Josephus' handwriting, so it looks like it was forged. So yeah,
Right.
Josephus was.
And it was a different kind of ink too, I believe.
Either one of them were born yet. Correct.
Okay.
And people are willing to throw their kids out of the house over this religion, and it is written on 17 different cocktail napkins from 4 different decades. Like, come on, y'all. You gotta do better.
Cocktail napkins.
You gotta do better.
Well,
I'm of Michael. I'm of the camp to begin with. I'm of the camp that the whole thing's a mythology, anyways. So, of course, in my mind, even Jesus himself is a myth. Now, of course, lots of mythologies are based on characters that they find within societies and stuff, or they embody specific types of characters that we find in society. Good people, bad people, that kind of thing.
Well,
the hero, the
villain.
And
one of the things I recognize is, so basically we come down to. Sorry, I'm talking over you.
No, go for it, man. Go for it.
There's a slight delay, so I'm watching you guys talking, and I'm here talking.
No.
One of the basic one of the basic things I've noticed, though, and this is an interesting discussion I have over on the Twitter side often, is that a lot of people say, well, he was this rebel, and that's the reason why he got killed. Oh, wait a minute, but nobody noticed him. And then I'm like, wait a minute, was he such a rebel that they made a religion out of him, yet nobody noticed him? There seems to be a disconnect there. So
yeah, I feel that.
So, yeah, I'm open to data that proves that he was around. I'm not even asking for a birth certificate, but I'm not telling you that says he is.
I'll take
one. Don't worry, he's not running for president. It's okay.
Not here anyway.
Right.
America's way too racist to elect Jesus in the modern day.
Yeah, so somebody said if he showed up in today's world, he'd be beat up and thrown in a cell somewhere and never heard from again. Goddamn hippies.
Guantanamo Bay his ass. You're the what?
He was the most woke liberal hippie of his time, for crying out loud.
Get this national security threat the hell out of here.
He was definitely, I use that because he's definitely woke for his era if he was real.
Oh, yeah.
But, and I do use that. But it's funny because here in the U.S., a lot of people truly think that he was Anglo and so, yeah.
I don't know. He'd be the first blonde-haired, blue-eyed dude in the Middle East that we ever heard of, for sure.
Well, he didn't have his dad was literal essence. So there's that.
Well, let me summarize real quick because there's a lot of over talking. I can't hear you guys, so I mean I can, but it's usually after the fact. So
I can yell.
Are we not loud enough?
Go ahead. No, you're loud enough.
Hear the opposite.
That much of a delay because I'm on the computer talking to you. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so basically the main disconnect for me is no one wrote about him while he was there, and he was supposedly a rebel, and everybody knew he was the Messiah, and supposedly he was a Jewish Messiah, but everything written about him was in Greek or Aramaic. But that's that's kind of a side point. And then okay, so you have Paul who changed his name, and he might have had an epileptic seizure according to what I can find. And then nothing. No one, it was like nobody knew how to write until after Jesus supposedly died and came back to life. And then the Gospels themselves, which some people still claim are eyewitness results. Hey, I'm 60 years old. I can't remember what I did 3 weeks ago, let alone 30 years ago. It's going to be eyewitness results. So you got a hell of a long fireside chat going on. I don't believe any of that shit. So that's where I'm at.
No, I know. It's like the broken telephone game.
Yes, longest run telephone game ever.
Yeah.
And no one picks up the other end.
Nope. That's right.
So, there's just so much delay. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, but that's my position on it and why I've taken that position. So it's always good to see you guys. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good to be
Thanks, Michael. Jump in an after party one of these days, brother.
You betcha.
All right. Good to see you. Say hi to the hubby. All right. Before we jump into the next call, I would like to say that there's a few other shows on this wonderful channel. On Monday nights, we have Black Freethinkers.
Yeah.
Thursday nights is the Sunny Spot.
Yeah.
Saturdays are the Global Atheists and Women Atheists Unload with lots of great hosts. And Sundays, well, that's what you're watching right now, is the Let's Talk. And tonight it's featuring me and my good friend, Mr. Mikey Famine over there.
Hi.
Hi. We got another call here. What the? Wait a second. No, we don't.
Lies and deceit.
I'm confused.
Help us. Help us.
Terminated call. Oh, okay. So we're going to delete that because it's a terminated call. We have Javier from New Jersey.
Hi, Javier.
Is a Christian.
New Jersey.
What's going on? Yeah, okay. What?
Hi, Javier. You're live with Mikey and Neil, Javier. How you doing?
Oh, good. Let me. I'm sorry. I've never ever seen this show before. Give me 1 second. Hang on. Let me get this on the. How much time do I have?
Whatever it takes, man.
Do you want us to come back to you? Do we have someone else lined up, Neil?
We do not.
Yeah, go ahead and come back to me. Yeah, that's fine.
Bad news.
Sure. All right. We can. I'll put you on hold then. All right.
Give you a couple of minutes to get yourself situated. Do we have any ads to read, Neil? Any other announcements that we have to do?
Yeah. I can say that Skeptic Haven is always looking for volunteers to help behind the scenes. If you're interested in becoming a part of the awesome Skeptic Haven team, you can send a little quick email to info@skeptichaven.com. That's info@skeptichaven.com.
Do it.
Do it now. Get to the chopper. I guess, well, no, I'll leave that for the end of the show. It's always good to thank all of our wonderful patrons and our members and stuff towards the end of the show. But you guys know who you are, and we're always thinking about you. So, all right.
Yeah, you little cutie pies.
Well, just to let you guys know, there is a Halloween party coming up on the show. Which, by the look of the thumbnail, apparently I'll be involved. So,
as a model,
that's right, a model citizen, more like it. Or I'm going to see if I can build myself out of Lego, and I'll just put that in front of the camera and see what happens.
Oh, that would be terrifying, dude. What if it was like kind of realistic, but not quite? Oh, that would be bad. Uncanny Valley stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's like too good.
I don't know when Javier will be ready to talk. So we'll just give a quick minute.
Yeah, I'm about to say he's had about 90 seconds.
Yeah, that's enough, right?
Yeah, he should be good. We filled the dead air.
I just want to show some little quick something here. I was at recently in August, beginning of August. I was at this BajaCon, and Aaron Ra was there, and they gave gift bags to all the speakers because Aaron was a speaker, and he was given a bunch of like little bottles of hot sauce because what else do you give Aaron, right? He's Mr. Hot Sauce himself. So he couldn't take them on the plane, obviously, because it's liquid and you can't take a bunch of liquid on the planes. So he gave me all his hot sauces. And I just want to show this one. It's called 80 weight 90 super premium hot sauce. And I tried like it's a small bottle. And when you see hot sauces in a small bottle,
that's a bad sign.
This is stuff that's going to knock your socks off. And I tried a little drop in some soup that my roommate made the other day, which is a potato bacon soup that she made the other day.
Burn through the
drop in there.
Burn through the bowl.
Are you kidding me? There's now a hole going all the way to the sub basement of my apartment building.
The neighbors downstairs were pissed.
Oh yeah, they're very upset with me. Anyway, it's the same thing that happened when I put in that sunken hot tub. Yeah, they keep banging their heads on it. I'm just kidding. All right, well, we're gonna take this call now. Hopefully Javier is ready to go.
I have faith that he's ready.
There you go.
See how
Javier, are you ready to chit chat with us?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right. How you doing?
Basically saying anything, just saying what's on my mind.
You can say whatever's on your mind. Sure.
Okay.
You'll have to. There is a bit of a delay, so you'll have.
I just need to vent a little bit. I'm not an atheist, but at the same time, I used to be an like a crazy evangelical, all that stuff, and it's just I just have one of my biggest complaints today is this about Christianity. Is just like look how bad evangelicals look today with like their worship of Trump and like their worship of the Republican Party and their worship of everything that's like the antithesis of what Christ actually stood for. And
I agree.
It's so messed up, like the way they just throw a party that's like anti-immigrant and that like they literally believe God hates gay people. And it's like, that's something I can never, ever get on board because like at the same time, well, I mean, I'm gay myself, but I didn't really wasn't sure to say that on the show or not, but
you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You're
believe that God hates gay people, even though they're not going to say that outright. The reality is if they're saying that gay people will never go to heaven because of who they are, then that's hate. And you're going to say that gay people go to hell? That's hate.
No matter what they say, no matter what, they're gonna go.
Different than Westboro Baptist Church in that way, and like these are the same people that are like worshiping the Republican Party and following Trump and going against everything that Jesus Christ actually stood for. And honestly, I'm so fed up with it. Like I said, I'm not an atheist, but at the same time, I'm so fed up with the way that, with like what Christianity looks like today, how right-wing it is, how in bed they are with the GOP and with the Republican Party and with Trump and with anti-immigrant policies and anti-gay and you know, everything that's like meant to help poor people is deemed as socialist and communist and all that. And just they just have no morals. They're not who they're just not.
Agree.
I look at evangelicalism and I don't see Christianity anymore. I don't see Christianity. And that doesn't diminish my personal faith in Christ. But at the end of the day, I just at the point where I just need to just get on and vent. I'm just tired of looking at what I see Christianity these days, and it's just too much.
For everyone out there that said that we wouldn't get a single reasonable Christian caller, well, there you go. So maybe don't insult all Christians off rip every time. There you go.
That's right.
Neil, if you don't mind, I'll jump in here first.
Sure.
I agree with you 100% as a big politics nerd. The Republican Party is not the same. It is 100% Jerry Springer, 2%, you know what I mean? minus 2% conservatism. Like it's not even a group that you can debate with.
Trump
anymore.
Is their new idol. He's the new golden calf.
You know what I mean? Like it's like the whole structure of politics was kind of upended when they said, well, let's see how far we can take this. Oh, that far. And now the genie's out of the bottle and everyone's trying to figure out how to put it back in there. And putting it back in there with reductive policies from, you know, yester-century is not the way. But that's they already got everybody ranting and raving and screaming, and the dollars have started flowing. So now they can't turn the tap off.
That's right. Oh, you mean the one up here?
Yeah.
The big faucet.
They can't figure out how to get off of this, because you know what I mean? They can't sustain themselves without this now.
Have your good Christian.
Yeah. And for me, one of the largest parts of my deconversion was I felt like I was the last person at church taking the religion seriously. Like I was the only one reading the book, you know, reading our homework and praying and doing everything I wanted, because I was praying for peace, you know, like my mind was racing all the time and I just was nervous and nothing ever came of it. And I never got any of that stuff. But I did recognize even then that the Christians of the early 2000s were already starting to have a crisis of faith, in that they weren't Christians anymore. They were just a hangout club. So the rise of Trump definitely has, I think, detonated the problem that the church kind of already had.
Go ahead, Javier.
Hey, you know, I mean, for me making my stances, you know, so I've lost a lot of Christian friends, and that really is, at the end of the day, it's just they're hard to talk to anymore. It's really hard to talk to them, because like they're so in bed with like everything that's just like this hateful and just it's just really hard to ruin society. But it's like they want everybody. The thing is like, and I understand the gospel. We want everybody to believe in Christ, but at the same time, they want everybody to be like them. And if they aren't like them, and they don't think like them, and especially if they don't love like them or don't vote like
true
them,
Christians.
they're not saved in their book. They want the whole world evangelical like them, and that's it's so messed up. It's like I see people like, you know, I watch some secular channels, you know. At the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't agree with everything in the secular world, but at the same time, you know, I see more kindness, love, compassion, you know, all of the above. And I'm like, why would I want these people to turn to evangelical? Like at the end of the day.
Don't worry about it. We're not gonna.
and you're very flattering, but not everybody's super nice. This channel's a great spot. You know what I mean? But we have our knuckleheads as well. But the turning on themselves inside the church, I did not expect. Because usually, even if like people were having sex out of wedlock or whatever, somebody gets pregnant, you just did it under the rug and things happen, and there were shotgun weddings and you just moved on with life.
Under rugs, weirdo.
Hell yeah, you haven't. But it's not. They would go on with life. No, they're willing to upend the apple cart. They're gonna flip the Monopoly board if somebody, you know what I mean? Like it didn't used to be this all or nothing thing. And it's not even about the religion anymore, which is very shocking. Like very shocking.
Wow. No, I agree with that. I agree with that for sure.
I mean, because think about like the Bush election.
Like the religion is all following Christ, caring for the poor, standing up for the immigrant, fighting for the oppressed.
You don't need Christ to do any of that, though. That's the thing.
Religion's supposed to be about, and it's about sacrifice, which is represented in the sacrifice made for us on the cross. But it's not. It's just like I don't see Christ at all in this anymore. I just don't.
Yeah.
Not with their behavior as of late, anyways. That's for sure. Javier, it sounds like I don't know. It sounds like you're sort of almost starting to deconstruct a little bit. And well, first of all, I wouldn't blame you if you did. I mean, what I do on my channel is speak to people about their deconstructions, deconversions, and how that went for them. And it's not always a happy story. Deconversion stories with 604 atheists and Mikey Famine.
That's me.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm 100% on board with you. I think what we're seeing now is not good examples of what a Christian should be, for sure. I think, and Mikey said it earlier, Trump being elected literally took the lid off of Pandora's box, for lack of a better term, and every single a-hole in the world crawled out from under their little Krusty Krab rocks.
Or couch cushions.
Crawled out of their couch cushions and started behaving in horrible fashions, and it's no surprise that they're grasping now. I think it's like the dying breath of these people, and they're trying their hardest to make that last stand to re-grab some power, and they want Trump to be that to be that springboard, if you will, so that they can get back in power and knock us right back into the early days of the U.S. when people were enslaved and there was total white supremacy at that point. That's making America great again, right?
Yeah. So Javier, can I ask you a couple things, Javier?
Evangelicals have created a Jesus in their own image, like an America First Republican mega hat wearing Jesus Christ, which
an idol
claim is the real Jesus Christ when it's obviously not. But it's like they've created, very obvious to me, like they become so, I hate to use the word delusional, but it's true. They become so delusional that they literally created a Jesus in their own image, a Jesus that hates who they hate, that hates gay people, that wants immigrants all deported, that is America First, that put Trump in office, and it's like it's delusional, but it's like the Jesus that a lot of them are worshiping. It's the Jesus that they created. It's not the true Jesus Christ.
It's not according to their faith, for sure.
That's right. It's their own version.
Yeah.
That's right. But that's what people in power can do. They can twist things.
A lot of them they're talking to God, and God is telling us that, God wants, Trump or whatever, and God is literally talking to them about it. But at the same time, it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I want to be careful when I tread on that, because like it's at the same time, I'm not saying that it's like, at the end of the day, a lot of people out there, it's like they claim that God talks to them.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking generally. I'm drifting away from politics right now. I'm speaking generally. Yeah. Like a lot of people out there, they're claiming that God talks to them. But it's like God says things are going to happen. God says things are going to happen, and they never actually happen. So it's just like, how do we know that's actually God talking to them? If God if God is speaking all these things to happen, but nothing actually happens. and then they wait years and years and years for something to happen, and nothing happens.
Yeah, that's a common thing that's brought up on a lot of these call-in type shows. Like I'm sure you're familiar with many of the other ones, but people often say, "Well, God spoke to me." Well, I often ask when I get those types of things, "Well, what was it audible? Like, could everyone in the room hear it, or was it just in your head, or was it, like how did this happen, and how do you demonstrate that something like that
like,
actually
how do we
happened?"
know it's not a schizophrenic voice that you're just hearing?
Right.
How do we
And
know
that's
like if God's actually said he's going to do something, you expect something to physically manifest into reality,
or
right?
something. Yeah.
and without being smug, like when I argue with like the little TikTok Christian kids and stuff like that, when they say stuff like that, I'm very like non-derogatory when I say, I'm like, but when you say he's talking to you, like, are you being literal? Are you being spiritual? No, he talks to me like, no. Are you being literal? Like, I don't want to encourage you, like, yeah, go talk to him and go listen to what he said. Like, because if you are having some sort of crisis and I'm, being trolly fart face over here, I don't want to throw somebody further into something that they can't get themselves out of. And you're 100% right with the delusion, because at some point, it sounds like you've extracted some sort of meaning and value out of the religion. And it sounds like the people around you have given up on extracting meaning and are now creating meaning based on the blueprint that they already have. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Javier, I got to ask you this: what is your what do you consider yourself? I'm assuming you consider yourself a Christian, correct?
I don't even like to use the word Christian anymore. I just consider myself a believer in Christ. That's all I like to consider myself. I consider myself a believer in Christ. I don't like the word Christian because Christian is just kind of taken on a bad meaning. I definitely don't like evangelical.
Right, and many atheists feel the same thing has happened to the word atheist. So.
Christ, believer in the teachings of Christ, believer in what he taught, what he represented, the sacrifice on the cross for, the sins of the world, his example of his sacrifice on the cross, how we need to make sacrifices for others too, caring for the poor, standing for the oppressed, defending the immigrant, and just speaking out against injustice, speaking out against what's wrong with the world. It's just, I just consider myself a believer in Christ at the end of the day. And I do believe in God, and, I always have. And, but at the end of the day, it's just like, like I said, it's just, I'm not really a churchgoer, to be honest. I used to be, but it's just like the way I just see, what even churches are. It's just, I don't really want to go to that. At the end of the day, I prefer the Mormon church, to be honest with you, but they hate that too. The evangelicals will say, oh, the Mormons, they're not saved. They're all going to go to hell and all that stuff. I'm like, because I actually lived in Utah for a while. I mean, I'm not baptized Mormon, but I did live in Utah for a while. I attended the Mormon church almost every week. And honestly, I like that church better than the evangelical church, because I feel like they have more compassion. They're more actually,
human
about their faith and everything. I just have more respect. I have more respect for, non-conservative Catholics than I do from evangelicals. Evangelicals are at the back of the line at this point. But like the way, at least, you see Catholics, like, they're living their faith, the nuns especially, maybe not a lot of some of the priests, but the nuns especially,
definitely not.
Like, seeking God daily, caring for the poor, being there for like immigrants, sheltering homeless children, all that stuff. And it's like the Catholics are more protective, or like just overall Catholics. They're more
kids in the right hands
for the immigrants more than like, the immigrants that Trump is demonizing, the Haitians and all that, and the so-called millions of illegals or whatever. The Catholics are more defensive of immigrants, and that's why a lot more Catholics vote Democrat, because they care about the immigration issue. They care about, they don't want to demonize immigrants. I've heard of Catholic churches that actually shelter, undocumented immigrants, and help them. And that actually, I'd probably say Catholics are kind of like 50-50, honestly. Would that be fair? Like,
sure.
As bad as evangelicals when it comes to like caring for the poor and immigrants, standing up for the oppressed and all that.
Well, I mean, if you put Mother Teresa on one side and Joel Osteen on the other side, if you put Mother Teresa on one side,
I wouldn't go with either one of them.
I mean, they're both monsters, but one demonstrably did something for other people. Joel Osteen locked the friggin' doors of the church when there was a storm surge from the hurricane. He's like, "You're not bringing your wet ass shoes in here." Hell no.
New carpets.
Yeah, get the hell out of here. We just vacuumed. No. But
I always believe that churches should be open 24 hours for homeless people to sleep inside.
Some can't be, though. There's a problem with that.
Like their first, in my opinion, the church's first priority should be the poor. That's my opinion. There's so many poor people out there, and they shouldn't be locking church doors and kicking people out that are homeless and all that. I don't. Yeah.
The churches in liberal San Francisco installed sprinkler heads underneath the awnings to sprinkle people for trying to sleep under them at night.
Wait, why?
Yeah. So the houseless people don't sleep under there. So then if someone goes under there, the little water will come on and will drench them, and then they'll move.
That's evil.
That's a church, like that's the church. That's the diocese. Like that's what they're up to. And I'm here in Chicagoland. I'm sorry.
Which denomination?
It was a Catholic church.
Idea. Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very wrong. That's very wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And here in Chicagoland, we just had the report come out that confirmed everybody's worst fears that a couple of the Chicago dioceses of the Catholic Church were actively hiding and harboring predators and playing the shuffleboard game with them and getting them out of circulation so that people couldn't keep track of them. Like the lawsuit and the victims, like 11,000 people. Like no atheist wants that to happen just so that we can win an argument. You know what I mean? So if church reforms,
what?
Yeah, okay.
It's the truck nuts of an unhealthy society.
Accurate.
That's the best.
He's the fake engine vents.
Yeah, the fake hood scoop.
Yeah, that doesn't go to anything. Or just the fake
looks
sticker.
Cool though.
A fake sticker that looks like a hood scoop from a distance. But it's even in blue areas and red areas.
Church of the Holy Sprinkler.
And then had the nerve to be nonprofit. You know what I mean? And that's and I don't know where your politics land on everything, but I know when it comes to getting things paid for, like taking care of the homeless and I don't know, universal health care here in the States, and just general well-being, feeding kids and stuff like that. I think the taxing the church makes everybody happy. They won't mind doing it. And then since they don't have the space to take in all these poor, well, we'll just tax you and then we'll just build the facilities without you.
Yep.
Yeah, I think some churches should be taxed as others shouldn't. It's like the way I see it is like churches that are actually serious about doing what they're supposed to do, they should be tax exempt. But the way I see it is like churches like the mega churches like Kenneth Copeland, Joel Osteen, Benny Hinn, whatever, all these or these big time evangelical churches that are just waving their hands in the air, but not actually doing anything for the poor. It's just like at the end of the day, I mean, those are the churches that should be taxed. But there's like a small minority of churches that actually live out their faith, or convents of nuns that are actually taking in immigrants and helping poor and actually feeding the poor and all that. It's just at the end of the day.
Between these days, though.
It's like the point is like evangelicals. It's like, how can they condemn other, obviously, like evangelicals primarily, it's like, how can they condemn, people who all believe in the same God and the same Jesus Christ as they do, Catholics and Mormons, like condemn them to hell when many of them are living their faith out better than they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a deacon one time preach.
The way I've seen it, it's like evangelicals are probably the least Christ-like. And I've been to all three: Catholics, Mormons, evangelicals. Evangelicals are probably the least Christ-like of the three. They just like praying in tongues and lifting their hand in the air and acting like God is right there and everything. And it's just, I don't understand. It's just, and it's like, and these are the people that are saying that like the whole world, you know, they're out in the streets screaming about gay people and all that, or whatever. Not even that, just out in the streets, like, I don't know, trying to convert people to their religion, their fundamentalist view of Christianity, saying that if they don't convert, everybody's going to go to hell.
And the funny thing is the Bible explicitly says don't do that.
Yeah.
They say go out and spread the good word, but they say don't stand on street corners preaching at people.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's like the evangelical worldview is like the way they look at the world, everybody's going to hell but them. And hell, literally, a burning place full of sulfur and fire where people are going to burn for all of eternity. It's just like, that's their worldview. And it's like, I mean, you know, even the Mormons, they don't even go that far. I mean, it's like,
right. Even the Mormons have standards.
I don't believe in hell, and the Mormons do believe in a hell, yes, but they don't go that far. Like, let me tell you a little something about the Mormons. Like, there's a verse in the Doctrine and Covenants that says, even if people, and this is actually a powerful verse in one of the Mormon scriptures. It says that even if people die without the gospel, God knows that had they lived another 10 years, 20 years, whatever, and had they continued to live on and would have eventually come to knowledge of the gospel, they would still be saved just based on that. So it seems to me like the God of, well, I mean, obviously I believe it's all one God, but the God of Mormon, the Mormon version of God is way more merciful than the evangelical version of God, because the evangelical version of God says, if you die without Christ, you're going to burn for eternity.
Well, I think
the Mormon version of God says that, you know, even if you die without the gospel, God knows that if you had accepted it later in life, God knows whether or not you would have accepted it later in life. And let me rephrase it. Even if you die without the gospel, if you accepted it at some point in your life, had you continue to live on, God would save you based on that. So also the Mormons, they don't believe that like,
black people are people.
The majority of people are going to be burning in a hell for all eternity. They believe that there's three versions of heaven. There's obviously the high kingdom, which is the celestial, and then there's the Terra kingdom, and then there's the Tel kingdom. Now, the Tel kingdom is the lowest version of heaven, but at the same time, you know, a lot of people are going to still be there. Yeah. You know, it's like only people that really are not going to be like in any of the kingdoms, or they get cast into outer darkness, which is their version of hell, if you will, are the people that like outright want to say, I want, you know, it's like outright reject it, outright reject the Holy Spirit, outright reject God, outright reject Jesus, and just like darkness. But even them, it's like at some point, if they were to die, but God knows that they would be saved, even on their dying breath, they'd still be saved on that. So it's like the point is the Mormon version of God's way more merciful, and the evangelical version of God just basically says, oh, you're all going to go to hell for all eternity. If you die without Christ, that's it. You're going to go to hell. And every day there's millions and millions of people dropping into a burning hell to be burned for eternity. And I'm just like, and it's just like, you know, if you really think about it, that's normal to them. That belief is normal to them. But for people out who just like are looking at the faith through the outside, I'm like, that's horrific.
Yeah, that's traumatizing to hear.
Oh, yeah. I've been there, man. Bring some sunscreen. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a party I went to once.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just kidding up here. I'm just funny with you.
I actually had a deacon back when I was a churchgoer, and when the pastor was out and he's like doing his like guest sermon or whatever, and he kind of called everybody out and said, you guys don't take your faith seriously. And this is like 2002, right? And he said, even the Muslims actually care about their faith more than you guys. So like your sentiment is kind of an old one, but Yeah, like that was he never did another guest sermon again because he's like, you compared us to Muslims because everybody was Islamic phobic back then. Good times
back then.
Well, yeah, it was way worse back then. We've made leaps and bounds. They stopped beating up Indian people on accident. I'm like, dude, how are you gonna beat up a dude just because he got a turban on? That's not even the right religion. Never mind. Just beating up anybody.
Not the sharpest pencils in the box.
Yeah, the racism, does something to the cognitive abilities.
Well, I mean, shit. There's this guy on TikTok that asks American kids if they know where name a country in Europe, and they go Africa. What? Yeah, the education system down there is a little lacking these days. So,
not for long. Oh, I had a couple questions for you, Javier, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Another thing is just that I can't get over, and I know I briefly touched on this earlier, but I can't get over how the evangelical God, the way the evangelical view of God literally hates gay people who just exist that way, who are made that way, who come into existence that way, and they say that if they don't turn straight by the end of their life, they're going to go to hell, even if they do believe in Christ. Like I was talking to a friend of mine. I mean, I don't even want to say it's hard to call him a friend. It really is. He's a former assistant landlord of mine, and we had unfortunately a very painful conversation in the middle of the night back in April. And he basically said that if you're gay, you're not going to go to heaven, period. And I'm like, but what if a gay person believes in Christ? What if a gay person believes in the gospel of Christ? Oh, no. It says in the Bible, it says here, they're not going to go to heaven, period. And
it doesn't say that actually, but okay.
Right.
The way they it's just like, it's like their God, their version of God, and I hate to use that term, but their version of God hates gay people as much as the God of the Westboro Baptist Church hates gay people. If they're saying that no gay people will ever be allowed in heaven, then that's a God that hates. That's a God that hates an entire class of people. And it's just like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, oh, even if they're believers, they can't be saved. They can't be Christians. They can't do any of that unless they get saved unless they get born again and turn straight.
Yep.
And it's so messed up.
And repress themselves for the rest of their lives.
They're not gonna ever say God hates fags. I'll say it outright. They will never say God hates fags.
You don't have to say that.
That's what they believe. That's what they believe.
That's something they would say, right? Which is, we get it, but you don't have to use terminology like that because
they're
it's
not
pretty
going to say it, but they believe that.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Absolutely.
Because if they're saying that God will never let gay people into heaven, God hates fags. That's what it is.
So the thing is, if I can hop on there, hop on that point with you, you have to. I know you're still a believer in the faith and all that stuff, but just hear me out. This is one of the most obvious ways to demonstrate that, and I've said this for years now, most religions are political tools, right? So what we're just witnessing is like the modern American weaponization of this story. So, whether people have to make up different versions or do whatever, this is a great way of controlling people because you can use shame, social pressure. You know what I mean? It's a great way of getting your populace to encourage or discourage a behavior. If they think that, they're going to burn in a lake of fire for 1 million years. I mean, like
eternity, dude.
Forever.
Yeah.
Which isn't possible, but yeah.
So if I need a bunch of young people to work in my field or my factory or whatever, you want to tell them that abstinence only is bad. You want like these are all policy platforms. You know what I mean? Like the things that they're choosing to keep out of their religion are policy points. Like this is their political platform. And whether people want it and whether people want to acknowledge it or not, that their pastor is like a mayor. He's a political figure and he directs his people to do his kind of thing. Like it's just a mayor at the end of the day. And some mayors are good to their people and most mayors are, I'm going to scare you, tax. And that's the first thing. You go in there, they tax you. You go over there, they tax you. Like it's like built into the grift. You know what I mean? So like I'm totally cool with people having like a spiritual side and like kind of like wondering what's beyond and all that. Like I get that, because the human brain isn't great at conceptualizing things like infinity, what happens when we're not around to experience things. Like I get that part of it. Like that's human AF, as the kids say. But at the same time, I have to remember, especially as a black man, given a King James Bible, what is this loaded object that's in front of me? Where did it actually come from? Why was it given to me? Who wrote it? You know, like stuff like that. So when I take things in the context that they're given to me, and I'm the only one taking this religion seriously, now a couple of things are starting to come together. Oh, you guys are just like Cubs versus Sox in this. And this is just the team that I was born into. And I'm supposed to root for this team. Even though my team doesn't care about the team's players, they don't know any of our stats, they don't take care of the field, they don't care anything about the team, but they just yell and scream and give everybody who does care about the team a bad name. So it sounds like you are seeking virtue, and the virtue left.
Jumped in the virtue clown car and took off.
I'm not even kidding. That's a very good way to put it.
I was right there with you, dude, because I love stories about knights and samurai, and like I love like Bushido code and like, you know, paladins and like D&D. Like I like the good guy, the guy who stands there with the shield and
D&D.
Yeah, like I like that character, the tank. You know, I like that character, and I identify with that guy a lot. And then you try to apply it to real life, and it's just like, these people are all pretending around me. They don't care about these people, and they just want to yell at them and tell them that they're going to hell. But I love some of those people that you're yelling that at, and I don't know if I can forgive you for that, because you're not taking it back.
Wow.
You know, it's like, I don't know that you can just say that my cousin is a bad person forever. Like, I don't know that I'm going to allow you to say that. And then it's either fight the whole church or just kind of see your way out. And that's kind of what I decided. I was like, you know what? You guys can figure this out without me. But I'm not going to be a part of hate. Like, I don't want to hate my family members. I don't want to be a part of that. And if you guys can't get your act together, then I'm out of here. Yeah.
Well, Javier.
That's a fair point.
Javier, I'd just like to say really quick before we wrap up this call, you're what we call one of the good ones, man. I think you got a great head on your shoulders, regardless of the,
appreciate that.
We have our differences in beliefs. That's besides all that, I think you're quite progressive for your particular belief system. So, kudos to you, brother. And I think you should carry that with you for as long as you can. And don't let the crazy ass evangelicals rope you back into that nonsense. Okay. We'd love to have you on again, Javier, and chat with you again if you're up for it.
How about this? After the election, give us a call back when me and Neil are up.
Yeah. And we could talk some more. I think it was good chatting with you.
Cool.
All right, my friend. We're gonna bring this call to an end because I think the show is coming to an end as well. So
they're putting the chairs up on the table.
That he had a few questions to ask me.
Hey, it's okay. We kind of ran out of time. Maybe we can keep them over. It's just the show's ending. We got to stop the stream, but maybe we'll keep you on after, and I'll ask you. It was more politics stuff anyway.
Well, I mean,
we got time for one more. We got time for one more.
If you got one more question, I just wanted to make a point real quick to
please.
Somebody that's in our chat that's saying, let me see if I can find it real quick here. Hang on here. If you want to be an atheist, just define God as something you don't believe in. That's not a definition of God, first of all. And this is why I'm an atheist, because there is no coherent and unambiguous definition of what God is. So until somebody else can define what God actually is, I see no reason to believe any of the stuff that I've been told. So that's why I'm an atheist and an apatheist, because I really don't give a crap. I'm going to live my life without it anyways. And yeah, so there you have it. Anyway, carry on.
The quick question there, Javier, was how bad do you think the Trump campaign is doing for you as a Christian? Whether it's the Stormy Daniels the sex tape, or the sex scandal and the payoff, whether it's the name calling, like with JD Vance and his like, how are you feeling as a Christian that this Republican campaign is kind of doing this this time around?
It's horrifying. It's horrifying. The whole thing is horrifying. Not just Trump, but the whole Republican Party, and like I said, how the evangelicals are just following. They just all sold their souls out to that. But it's horrifying. It's just flat out horrifying. It's going horrible. I don't think he's going to win the election. However, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think he's going to win, because I think more people see through that than don't. But
yep.
It's
many of his followers have already left him.
Yeah. Okay. Because I wondered, because he's just like, he keeps. And what about like the Trump Bible? That was the other thing I was going to try to remember. Have you heard about like the Trump Bible with like he has a Trump version of the Bible with a constitution in it, and it's called like America's Bible. I'm not even kidding. It's $60 on his website.
What?
I think it's kind of blasphemous, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, I'm not even a Christian, and this shit is offensive. Even us atheists wouldn't be able to get away with that. Well, there you go. Would you say the Trump Bible is weird?
There's a lot of, they're idolizing Trump in so many ways. It's very obvious. It's very obvious. And then the fact that, they think that God picked him God chose him to save America. And, I was watching, I don't know, you guys watch the David Pakman show. David Pakman.
Yeah, Pakman's great.
It's like, I love David Pakman, honestly. Big fan of his. But he actually, they were saying that, like, the whole world saw a miracle, because evangelicals like to say the whole world saw a miracle when they tried to assassinate Trump, but it missed them. But David Pakman says, so God protected Trump, but the guy got hit in the back and was killed.
Right behind him.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense because they're screaming the whole world saw a miracle when God saved Trump from that assassination. But
but fuck the guy behind him and his family, right?
Yeah. His daughter's wearing his gray matter on her freaking dress, and you're talking about, oh, what a miracle that this guy's alive. It's like, how do you not see how cringe that is?
Yeah, that must be insulting to the family of that person that died. Honestly, that must be really, and that should be insulting to the family of the person that died.
They gave their blessing.
I think that Kamala and Biden called their families before Trump even did. Honestly, the family of the person that died that was shot instead of was shot.
They
when
did.
the bullet was pumped,
and they didn't pick up, and they wouldn't pick up the phone call.
All the family of that person before Trump did.
And they wouldn't pick up the phone call. They wouldn't take the phone call from them. Because when the president calls you, like they have like their secured lines and all that stuff. So like an assistant or somebody calls you first and says, "Hey, please hold on the line. The president would like to speak with you." And then doom, and then it will.
Girl from Ipanema.
That obviously comes on. But then there's a buffer person that will connect the call for you. And thank you, Skeptic Haven. Kamala. It's a Sanskrit name, so you have to put the emphasis on the first syllable. Kamala. But yeah, they didn't even want the condolences call from Joe Biden, which was kind of telling. And that's weird. What the sitting president, no matter who he is calling to say, "I'm sorry for your loss." You can take the damn call. And
that's very sad.
But the internet has them all believing that the left wing is all after everybody to commit political violence and to take people down one at a time.
I see the men all the time. You have no idea the evil we're fighting. They're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. It's like you see these right-wing memes. They're like trying to install all this fear into their base. And they're like,
that's how you control people.
Kamala wins. America is finished if Trump wins. And
this is why hell was created, FYI.
Wins and all this stuff. The way I noticed, and let me just say something real quick. Are we still on the live stream?
Yeah, dude.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay. Let me say something real quick. What's so messed up about this? I mean, there's a lot that's messed up about this, but let me add one more thing. Is how Christians are supposed to be, we're not supposed to fear. We're not supposed to fear because Christ told us not to fear. God said, do not fear so many times in the Bible. We're not supposed to fear. Well, the whole thing in the whole evangelical right-wing thing is motivated by fear. It's all fear. All of it's fear.
100%.
It's like you're this fear that if the Democrat takes office, millions of illegals will pour into the country. A fear that if a Democrat takes office, Kamala wins, she's going to move so far left and America is done. Oh, Trump is trying to save our country. Trump is going to save our country. If a Democrat wins, America is finished. It's done. We won't even, it's like people like Dan Bongino and, the Daily Wire and all these people. They're not just them, but Trump especially Trump. There's so much, these evangelicals are so motivated by fear. They're so motivated by fear to vote for, to literally jump through fire to vote for Donald Trump this November. It's fear. That's something I've noticed the last couple election cycles, ever since Obama.
Yep.
It's just like the Democratic Party's become this, like, according to evangelicals, this demonic, evil thing. It's just like, and if the Democrat takes office, America's finished. God is done with America and all this stuff. And it's just like, the point is that I'm getting at is they're motivated by fear, and the Bible says not to fear so many times.
But fear is the most effective way to put butts in seats.
Yep.
And that's what they're after. Like, they need people in them seats every Sunday, or the heat is gonna get turned off. Like, they need bodies, and whatever. If keeping you scared is what keeps them asses in them seats, then y'all finna be scared.
The problem is, though, those numbers are dropping.
That's the
which
thing.
Is why they're freaking out.
Yeah. So that goes towards that panic that the left is out there to make this big demonic. Most of the left is former Christians. Newsflash, or people who just are part of.
A lot of them are Catholics.
Yeah. Because I think there's what are we at? 13, 14 million atheists in the country.
My friend Believe in Reality. It's actually Phil, but fearful people exist first, then become religious. Well, it's easier to mold a mind when they're already afraid, right? So
my late grandfather, he passed away in 2019. He was one of the most devout Catholics I've ever known. He was also a devout Democrat.
Yeah, because that meant something. Because that meant something for him.
Yeah, he was a Democrat. My Catholic family in Arizona currently today, including his wife, my step grandmother, they're all Catholics. They're very devout Catholics, but they're all Democrats. It's like, and then it's in my. There's only one of my family members that's like a really strong Republican. He's my dad's brother. That's about it.
How's he dealing with this election cycle?
They're Democrats. They've been Democrats for a long time. They're still Democrats today. They're still going to be voting for Kamala Harris, and they voted for Hillary and Joe Biden and all that. It's just the thing is, like, that's what I like about Catholics better, just overall in general, is like they're not with this evangelical. Well, so a lot of them are. Don't get me wrong. A lot of them are.
There are evangelical Catholics, yes.
But a whole lot of them at the same time, they're not with this evangelical conservative movement.
You want to know why?
A lot of them are immigrants. A lot of them are like the border crossed them. They're in South Texas or they're in Arizona or whatever. They didn't cross the border crossed them. And you know,
Right.
they see the Democratic Party as the party of equality, the party of immigrants, of defending them, you know, it's like the party of like Christian values like healthcare and protecting and, you know, standing up for people and all that, you know, and that's why, you know, they continue to remain Democrats. It's like, and I think that's the reason a lot of black people are Democrats too at the end of the day. It's like, because they're not really with this evangelical fearmongering. It's mostly white evangelical. Notice how they're all, the majority of them are white. But
it's accurate.
I think a lot of it has to do with like, they have fear of becoming like a minority in this country. Like their fear that we're going to become an immigrant majority nation and white people are going to be the minority. And they're terrified of that. It's like, I don't know. I'm just theorizing here. But the point is like, the point that I was saying earlier is like my Catholic family in Arizona, of my grandfather, they're the most devout Catholics I know. They're all Democrats. Lots of Democrats in New Mexico and South Texas and Arizona who just, you know, were there. They grew up there. Their families grew up there. Their grandparents grew up there. The border crossed them, you know, and they vote Democrat because it's the party of equality, the party of immigrants. And it's just at the end of the day, it's like the Catholic Church is like 50-50. I'm going to word salad here, but Catholic Church is like 50-50. It's like the Catholic Church is like, you know, there's these conservative, there are these ultra conservative Catholics and all that, of course, that are like boldly standing against gay marriage and all that stuff. But then there's these more liberal group of Catholics, which is like literally like they're more like for the social gospel, like, you know, standing up for immigrants and standing up for healthcare and standing up for, you know, fighting and, you know, being there for the poor and defending the poor and all that stuff. It's just very, they're not all like with the evangelicals, you know, it's like, and then I don't know what to say about like the black churches. It's like at the end of the day, but the blacks, you know, a lot of them have their own churches. And
it's a lot of fear as well.
Are voting Democrat and but the majority of blacks
is fucking top notch.
The majority of blacks are Christian, right? And the majority of blacks are voting Democrat, and they're not with the evangelical, you know, nuttery, the white evangelical nuttery.
They're not invited.
I'm sorry. This is all a bunch of puzzle pieces here, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, they're not invited. You know what I mean? Like that's not that's not their thing. They can go have their clapping, stomping church down the street. They're not invited to our real new Christianity that they're trying to bring here. And it is a little sobering to think about all of the things stacked on top of each other, but it is nice to hear that other Christians are frustrated with the Christo-fascist state that they're trying to implement, and that people are actually offended that they're trying to abscond their religion to just make obvious policy decisions and then hide behind the religion as a banner for, well, I have to do this because God said so. It's like, no, dude, first of all, you need to make the website for the trans couple or whatever it was, or you need to bake the cake for the gay couple. Like, enough with the hypotheticals and the BS. You don't care about these things. No one cares about cake that much. It's never been a problem. But,
I like cake.
But it's an easy way to flex your control over a group of people in the populace that isn't doing what you want them to do. And if you want to control them using the religious texts that are so vague that anybody with a mean bone in their body can just transform into a hate speech, that's where you get Mark Robinson's, who just goes out there making the most craziest sermons you ever heard in your life. And then little research online, did a little comprehensive research on whose name leaked from the Ashley Madison I Like to Cheat on My Wife website. Cross-reference that with Black Nude Planet and
Ashley,
divide by the square root of the hypotenuse, and boom, he's a chaser.
The square root of the hypotenuse.
And it's and you're right back at square one, where this guy is just afraid to be who he is, to express himself for who he is. So he has to use the tools and means and weapons around him to make everybody feel as bad as he does on the inside. As if it's any of our fucking problem. As if any of us care what you watch, brother. I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. You were referring to Mark Robinson about the guy afraid to be who he is. Who are you talking about? I missed that.
Okay. So he's the North Carolina lieutenant governor who's running for governor.
Yeah. He's the Republican candidate in North Carolina. Yeah. He's crazy, honestly. He's crazy in a lot of ways.
But that's the thing. If you go back and look online, you probably saw some of his clips on TikTok or something like that. He has horrible sermons, like awful stuff.
Wow.
Just take a little dip in there. You know what I mean? Like every single word that you can think of, he goes there for every single one of them. And then come to find out this was his, scarlet letter. So this projection, this compensation, there's nothing wrong with y'all. There's probably nothing even wrong with the religion, but we will never actually know what your religion is, your true religion is, because it's been hijacked. And I honestly see no way for, just regular old spiritual Christians to have any sort of domain in the Christian sphere, at least in this country.
Mm-hmm. You guys getting overshadowed by the fucking maniacs.
Y'all got hijacked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. They got hijacked. That's true.
We got a holier than thou in the chat. I don't need anyone to agree with me about anything, but I was hoping there would be intelligent discussion here. Well, then you came to the wrong place. Sorry, our intellect is not quite up to your stuff. Kick dirt.
What is he?
Wait, what did I miss? What did he say?
No, there's shit going on in the chat, dude. I keep getting distracted from the chat, and there's a very pious individual in the chat that's shaming us because we're not intellectual enough.
I'm just so grateful that they came down from their cloud to even speak with us mortals.
Right. Shine your light on me.
Appreciate you. And we've tried to not be like super condescending in the whole thing, but it's cool. But it's cool that he can do that in the chat, even though that's clearly not the energy of the room. That's clearly not how everybody's trying to interact right now. But if he wants to turn it up, I mean, execute Order 66. Take him out, boys.
Javier, all I can say is we like when we have conversations with theists like yourself, because you're not like a complete whack job, like you were saying about the evangelicals going all haywire and stuff. So it's good to be able to actually, as just a couple of human beings talking to each other, and we don't really even need to bring a lot of our differences up, but we can agree upon things that the for lack of a better term, the evangelical wackos out there are trying to run a ship and sink it. And I think that you and myself and Mikey here and the rest of the crew and people in the chat can all agree that we need to have more believers like yourself out there going up against that kind of behavior, because it's sickening, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. But unfortunately, I myself, anyways, have somewhere I have to be in a little while. Not super right. I do know that the crew wants to have a chat with me after the show, so I really should.
Ooh, you in trouble?
We should. I know I'm getting spanked.
Ooh.
Anywho, so we'd like to bring this to a close. But Javier, man, once give us a call again, because I like chatting with you, brother. It was a good. I think we had a good chat. So.
Yeah, check in.
Mind you, he did most of the chatting.
That's why he needs to. That's why he should be back every week to fill up a good 20 minutes of the show. I nominate Javier to rant.
But yeah, it was have yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Have yourself a great rest of your evening.
You know what's funny is I was trying to call. You may have blocked my number, but I'm not even joking about that. I was trying to get in touch with before getting on the show tonight. I was trying to get in touch with I guess Christian, I guess quote unquote friend, if you will, quote unquote, again air quotes. I mean, it's a boy. Kind of had back and forth with. I mean, he's gay, but he thinks he has to live like a single life his whole life and all that. And we've gotten into differences about that. And I think he may have blocked my number because of that. But I tried to message him tonight saying I really, really need a rant tonight. And I never heard back. I never heard back because I don't think he wants to talk to me. But anyway, it's just like,
that's too bad.
Yeah, you want to see what I'm talking about. His YouTube channel is Christian Convos, but yeah, I don't want to put him on the spotlight. I'm sorry, but anyways, it doesn't matter. I don't want to put him on the spotlight. I'm sorry, but the point is that I was trying to reach out to him because I just really needed to rant tonight, particularly about that James guy I told you about earlier, the one that like says all gay people are going to hell and all that, and then how he's just constantly. And I'm really, really, really nice person. It's just like at the end of the day, it's like, I had to block that guy for a while, but then I unblocked him because I wanted to give him another chance. Then every time he calls me, he's always talking about church and Christian this and Christian that and how the devil used to control my life and God changed my life and all that. It's just at the end of the day, it just becomes too much for me. It's just like, it's overwhelming. It's like, he's just like, oh, my Christian boss. Oh, my Christian friend. Oh, my Christian this, my Christian that, my Christian this, my Christian that. Oh, that's when the devil used to control me, but now God changed me. Oh, I used to be under the control of Satan back then, and God set me free, and all that. And it's just,
Hail Satan.
No, this is somebody else. This is my assistant landlord. But I'm sorry. It's just the point is like I'm just really, I'm really thankful that you guys gave me the chance to speak tonight because I'm just really, really overwhelmed with, with everything that I talked about tonight. I don't need to repeat anything. Just everything that I talked about tonight. And like I said in the beginning, it's just like, it's hard to maintain friendships with other Christians because like, it's just really, they're so narrow-minded. Their worldview is so narrow-minded. They don't even think to look on the outside of things. It's like, it's really hard. It's really hard to maintain friendships with them. And yet these are the people that I'm supposed to be around 24/7, speak in tongues with, and, only talk about Bible stuff and stay away from anybody who thinks differently and all that. And that's just, when you're asking people to like stay away from everybody who thinks differently, that's asking you to be in a cult. But I'm sorry, I really needed a rant tonight about everything that we talked about. And I was going to do it with that Jack kid, but he doesn't want to talk to me, so I don't really care. But
so let me grab the steering wheel since you're we circled this block. But yeah, dude, we want you to call back. We want to check in with you. I think you'll be coming on me and Neil's show before too long. I'm not saying I'm a scrying kind of guy, but I got a prediction. I think you're closer than you might realize because when you're the last one playing by the rules is kind of when you start to figure it out.
He knows because that's exactly what happened to him.
Last guy playing by the rules. But Javier, thanks for calling in, bud.
Yeah, appreciate your call, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, let's get things wrapped up here, I think. Take care, Javier, and call us back anytime, man. If you just want to chat regularly, you can email me at or 604atheist@gmail.com. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I really, really appreciate that.
No problem.
See you, dude.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye. I think we've got transphobes in the fucking chat now.
No. Great.
Yeah, great.
Fantastic.
Apparently I didn't hit the drop button. Yeah. But I can tell you this is the people that are claiming about, men are men and women are women. They don't know the actual science behind it all, especially the neuroscience and the new biology that's in on that stuff. So if you guys don't know about that, go fucking learn and stop being dicks. Okay.
Yeah.
Just leave people alone. They are who they are. It's like gay people are born gay, trans people are born trans. Okay, there's nothing you can do about it.
The funny thing for me is that people run through life saying things that they think as if anyone cares.
Right.
Like, dude, no one asked. Like, it's just like people's volunteers like, hey man, you brought it up, but cool. Is there a reason you brought it up, or do you want to talk about anything? Or it's cool. But I mean, Neil, armadillos. I don't usually bring up armadillos all the time because I don't think
I like them. They're pretty good. They're pretty close to turtles, if you ask me. I'm talking about the candies, right?
Squirrel turtles.
No, those are almondillos. Never mind.
But I just don't bring up stuff that doesn't really like if someone has their pronouns up there on screen, I usually don't have
somebody's pronouns that they prefer. Is like, why are people against that? I'll never understand that.
It's really
you
weird.
Prefer that? Fine, that's how I'll refer to you. It's a weird hate thing. I don't know. It's weird.
So like if I thought your name was Nathan and it actually was Neil, and then I had to change it in my brain because I had it wrong in the first place. There you go. There you go, guys.
Want to know what my Hebrew name is, just to fuck things up even more?
My
Hebrew name is Nahum.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I don't.
Nobody wants to.
I don't have a gear right here for phlegm. I don't have
the gear. My Hebrew name is N Phlegm Hum.
Like Akbar or Ahmed, the dead terrorist. Good time.
All hail Satan. Satanic Temple, folks, join up.
I don't do clubs, man. I'm a solo guy.
It's not really a club. It's more like a political movement, if anything. Anywho, right. I want to do some thank yous and stuff because we have some pretty cool patrons and members. Thanks to all of them. Paul Camish, Karen Butcher, who I saw in the chat. Hi, Karen. Helen Green, Logan Fisher, Amanda McLeod, Eric Ozols, Rion, Deneen Murphy, Dan D, Michael Wiseman, Puck, Sunny Shell, Aaron Coalson, and Phil Calderone. Thank you all for what you do for the show. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I am soon going to become a patron myself. I just have to move some money around because I'm in a tight spot here. Flem the 604 Atheist. There you go. Thank you, tons of mics.
Flemmy from Motorhead.
Sawyer, it's not unusual for cool Christians to use their pronouns, their preferred pronouns, right? Because it shows you actually give a shit about the people when you use their preferred pronouns.
Wait, so
no one's forcing you, but it's a cool thing to do.
So the Christians arguing about pronouns?
Yeah, I know.
You guys capitalize he for a living. Shut up. Okay? Like in him, you capitalize pronouns for a living. Relax.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yes.
Relax.
Anywho. All right, everybody. I think we're going to wrap that up. Mikey, great having you with me as usual. Awesome.
Thanks for the call.
And thanks to the crew for putting up with our antics. And thanks to all our great callers tonight. If you haven't subscribed to the show and you've liked what you've seen on this one and other episodes, smash that like button down below there and hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but becoming a member does, but it's not much. So if you want to help out the show, you can do that as well.
And you can change your mind later.
Exactly.
So just push the button.
Jesus Tales, I see you back in the chat. Thanks for your call tonight as well.
There he is.
Hopefully we can chit chat again sometime. And we're going to call that a wrap, guys. And
thanks.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.